Morning. Well, she's a former Tembisa police officer on trial for allegedly murdering her relatives just to cash out on insurance life policies and funeral policies. Many South Africans have been captivated by Nomia, Rosemary Ndlovu's story this week. Prosecutors alleged Ndlovu tried to defraud clientele, One Life, Old Mutual and Assupol Life, all between 2012 and 2018. But on the stand, she vehemently denies this. Well, the Insurance Crime Bureau tells us it's been helping the police build this case against one of their former colleagues. The Bureau's Garth de Klerk speaks to us live from Johannesburg this morning. Garth, thank you so much for your time this morning. We know you are involved in the case and you cannot go into the merits as it's being ventilated in court. But how difficult has it been to crack open this particular quite convoluted matter, because it spans several years?
No, thank you, and good morning, Annika. I think it's obvious that it's quite a convoluted case, as you said, and it really represents the darker side of insurance fraud. We've been very lucky in the fact that the South African police services have done a great job of the investigation and ensuring all of the evidence is in place around the alleged murders and fraudulent acts. So really, in this case, the Insurance Crime Bureau has been able to provide them with the final needle in the haystack to prove the frauds and to prove the way in which Rosemary intended to benefit financially.
How easy is it to commit small claims insurance fraud? Take us through how prevalent it is in South Africa.
I think it's not as prevalent as one would assume. You know, we obviously see the more juicy cases in the newspaper, but we stop thousands of application frauds at inception. So it does happen. They're quite sophisticated. When these people get involved, they are conniving and convincing people to sign inceptions and sign policies on their own lives. So it is difficult to catch all of them, but we are able to stop most of them at the inception stage.
What's interesting to me is that there's some big companies involved here, and they're not just small companies. They're companies where you would presume that once there's been a death, especially a suspicious death, they would, for instance, if it was a car accident, they would go and do an inspection. There'd be quite a lot that would need to take place before a claim is paid out. Very quickly, what happens when a claim is somebody dies and there is a claim that's made?
So, I think, again, we have to go back to the volume transactions. There are thousands of claims that are made every day, and specifically now during COVID, we're looking at thousands and thousands of claims. So where there's a suspicious death, the forensic investigators get involved. They work with law enforcement. We'll go and have a look at circumstances around a murder. You refer to car accidents. There are thousands of cars accidents every year. 60,000 murders a year alone. We can't investigate every single one of them. So we use a lot of data as the insurance industry to try and determine whether or not there are suspicious red flags around an incident. If it's a murder or a suicide, what were the circumstances around the murder or suicide? But it's just physically impossible to investigate each and every claim that comes in. We have to ensure that as an industry, we are being fair to the beneficiaries of the policy, and that we're not trying to hinder just for the sake of investigations. So it is difficult to get to everyone, but we're definitely catching the bigger ones and gruesome ones.
Tell me what the forensic investigators usually do when there's a suspicious death.
So it depends on the circumstances, but we could do anything from toxicology investigations. We could exhume bodies. We'll go in and confirm that the cadaver lying in the morgue is in fact the life insured, which is quite a popular one as well, where people are renting bodies and using fake bodies for fake death certificates, etc. So, the forensics investigation can span across a number of different forensics channels, if I can call it that.
Garth, last question. We don't want to take up too much of your time. You've also been assisting in the Bishop Bafana Zondo case, where he's accused of fraud
That's
too.
right.
Is that correct? What's the status of that at the moment?
Well, it's still under investigation and is going to court soon. But there's still a lot going on in that case. I can't go into too much detail. But again, it's one of those more brutal cases where, unfortunately, we're faced with people that have a lower set of morals than we would like to see the average citizen have. And they are prepared to do anything for financial gain, including murder.
Thank you so much. That was Insurance Crime Bureau CEO Garth de Klerk. Thank you so much for your insight and time this morning. You know, Garth was saying, he talks about the moral fiber that, you know, one wouldn't have in order to lodge these false claims, but also to have the time and the inclination and the mental gymnastics to sort this out and work it all out. It's quite a complicated process.
Quite cunning and
Yeah,
ingenious in a very evil way. And just to go back to some of the amounts that she claimed, this started in 2012, like you said. So it started off with her cousin who passed away, and then she claimed 100,000 rand for witness Hamu, and then moved on to her sister, claimed about 700K for her sister, moved on to her boyfriend, which was another 400K, which she claimed from insurance companies. And it added up, and she allegedly then claimed about 1.4 million rand. So she allegedly put together quite a caper. Yeah.